You're listening to the Download Youth Ministry Podcast.
2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 2019. This is the Download Youth Ministry Podcast. I'm Doug Fields with Jason, the Supertone Carson. The Queen, as always, Katrina,
Hello.
Katie Edwards, and Josh, the poster child of
life,
Grace
and love,
and beauty. Hello there.
and humility.
And humility. Story of my life.
You guys, this is episode 346. We mark in the new year with more joy, more laughter, more fun, more humanity,
More humility.
kindness.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little pressure.
Ringing in the new year.
Yeah.
We have a new format for the show or anything? No, okay, great.
You keep co-hosting, and I'll keep doing all the work.
That sounds like a plan.
All right.
And we're just lucky that Jason's even here. So
You're in
that's
your
good.
strengths. You're in your strengths.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Stay in your lane, people.
346 episodes, 2019.
Wow.
We have 12 shows on our podcast network. We have fabulous sponsors. Orange.
Yes, we do.
Who we want to encourage you to go to orangeconference.com.
May
Join
1st
us there.
in Atlanta. Don't
in
miss
the
it.
fall, join us on Orange Tour.
Atlanta.
Yep.
That's right.
And we have our friends at leadertrex.com.
Love them. Great mission
Or
trip
.org.
journals for this summer, the 2019 summer.
.org
would be
or
great.
.com.
Just
.org.
Google it. Leader Treks.
Yeah, Doug Franklin. They're great.
It's an
I'm thinking it's .org. Do you think it's
It
.org?
is, yes.
Yeah, it's .org.
I wonder who owns .com.
I don't know.
We should find out.
Orange.
See if they could sponsor us too. Then we could say Leader Treks and both would be sponsor.
That's right. All right.
Anyhow.
We'll buy it after the show. It's a good thing we're not live. But next show, I think, show 347, we might do a Facebook Live.
I like it.
That's pretty
Will we do it only on the members page? You have to be a member in order and go on the members page, or just to everybody?
Do we have a members only page?
We do.
Oh.
Just saying, we could do that.
I didn't know that. I
Or
thought
we
we could
wear
just-
members only jackets on the
I
members
would
only
like that.
page.
Now we're
Be
talking.
amazing.
Just an idea. Or we can just open
I'll
up
take a
Facebook.
maroon one.
do you have any
No,
New
you
Year's
should open it
Seafoam
up.
green.
New Year's resolutions this year, Jason?
No.
No? Katie?
Nope.
I've joined the youthpastordiet.com and am 3 days into a crash diet.
Really?
Going great
How's
right
it been
now.
the last 3 days, Josh?
Been terrific. I've had a lot of yogurt and a lot of water.
Wow.
I'm hoping that's the secret. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, Josh. It's not sustainable.
And I had a piece of beef jerky
One.
and
it
4
3
Milky
times.
Ways.
On the way to my car.
No, I'm going to win. The Youth Pastor Diet, the leaderboards are up. There's still time to join if you haven't joined yet. That's my New Year's resolution. This is the
Yeah,
year.
Hawaii.
This is the year.
No one's ever said that on January 3rd.
This is the year. This is my
This
now.
is the year to
This
win.
is my year.
This is the year to stick with it. What are you
That's right.
saying? Well, I'm just
Here's
trying-
the thing. I have worked out the entire time, the last multiple years. We work out at CrossFit together. But a guy yesterday says to me, well, I'm glad you're at the gym, but you can't out-train your diet. And I was like,
Oh,
okay. Maybe it's time for a change. So
Hurtful.
hurtful and motivating in like I'm going to have to suppress that pain and maybe eat it later.
Did you confront him on his rudeness to you?
No, he looks great. He's lost like 100 pounds. So I'm like,
Oh.
you can say that, I guess,
Who
you
was that?
jerk. I'm not going to say on the podcast, but he's a good dude.
Yeah?
He just wounded me to the very core.
Yeah. All right.
The pain.
I'm gonna cut his Achilles.
And then just watch him get fatter.
You
I can't walk
say
anymore.
that. You
No,
can't say
because then
that.
he'll hit a slice for the rest of his life.
Yeah. No. This has gone dark. This has gone real
Happy
dark.
New Year.
Happy
We're
New
back.
Year.
It's a new show.
New Year. I want to learn to play the guitar this year. How's that?
There you go. That's better.
I'm gonna
The
read.
ukulele. I could see you with the
I'm gonna
ukulele.
read
like
3
to learn
chapters
to
of
play
the
the
Bible a
guitar.
day.
How many? How many? chapters?
3 chapters a day.
I can't even keep my U version streak going right now. There's no way I can read 3 chapters.
We are doing. Our church is going to try and read through the whole Bible.
Yeah, are you gonna-
Chronological
Oh,
Bible.
interesting. You
gonna-
bring it up now.
Set them up for
Together?
failure.
No.
It'd be interesting to know how many people sign up for that and actually how many people do that.
What?
Sign
Let's
up. We
play
live in
over
grace,
under.
Doug.
Huh?
We live in grace.
There's
Well,
ways
as
to
long as
track
they
it,
know
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 100
Absolutely.
people
'Cause-
sign up. How many are really going to finish
No one
it? Just
signed
keep
up.
it real.
7.
It's in grace. We
7.
encourage them.
7% are going to finish.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's high.
You guys.
You do?
Finish reading the entire Bible.
7
in a
out of
year.
100?
Oh, yeah. I think it's 3. Yeah, thank you for coming back to
I
my.
was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Read every word in the Bible in a year.
Yeah, people do that, Josh.
No,
Absolutely.
people don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Their pastor couldn't even do that. He got through like whatever Judges, and you're like, I'm out. That's it. Which is good. That's good for
Yeah,
a pastor.
I get through
Chronicles gets tough.
yeah,
I get through Exodus and just flip to Matthew.
Yeah.
I skim Psalms, try to hit a
leaping
few.
around. Don't go,
Yeah.
just sleep around.
I read it all,
What are the most
more or
exciting
less.
ones? Start there.
Yeah, Proverbs is good. Read that one time.
Lowering the bar.
That's it.
I'm just saying.
No.
3 would be good.
I'm just glad Josh owns a Bible. From Ken Leslie, who is an assistant pastor at Stony Creek Church.
Wow. All right.
In what city, Josh?
I'm gonna say Cleveland, Ohio.
No, Ken
I
Leslie.
don't know.
I think it's
even know.
Michigan.
Is he?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like the same though, kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We should know. We know him
Yeah,
well.
Ken Leslie. I'm gonna say Tennessee.
I can describe him.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, that's Michigan.
Michigan.
Utica is Michigan.
Boom.
That's pretty good.
Nice work.
Wait, how would you describe him? That was
Josh's
interesting.
home state.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a like a sketcher
Yeah,
for
you're like a-
people who
A courtroom sketch artist.
commit crimes,
Okay.
Stick figure.
Or an FBI most wanted.
I could sketch him out easy. I know.
Okay,
he
give
looks.
me some of the defining characteristics.
5 foot, 5'9",
5'9".
white,
White guy.
42.
Ouch. Ouch.
Ooh, that added a couple lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some wrinkles. Some wrinkles
Looks like
disappear
a
in that
youth
sketch.
pastor.
yeah, dark hair,
Looks like a youth pastor.
Dark hair.
Curly hair.
a little effeminate.
receding hairline. I mean, sorry to hit so close to home there.
Yeah, that's enough.
General all around nice guy who has a question on the show.
Good guy who helps us edit product
And
and
has written
has
some
great
great games.
products on our store.
All right. Are we good? Do we feel like we did enough of the
what's
like?
going
Okay.
on?
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I'm
New year.
watching an accident happen in slow motion. I don't know what
Someone
to
just
say.
got
I
too
don't know what
Here
to
we go.
say.
what do you got?
Lot of words.
They're still going.
You know what? When I was in my reading through the Bible plan, we're going to give an account for every word we say.
You know what? If you guys would quiet down, I'd be able to get to his question. As we look to the next calendar year, I'm having a hard time convincing my leadership that I should get allowance for conference time and not have to use vacation days. For the last few years, I've attended DYM 100 using vacation days, but that doesn't make my wife too happy. Give me some words to help me convince my boss.
Is he talking about his boss at the church or his boss at home? Because
The church.
The church. Okay. I would say invite your wife to come with and make it a little mini vacation while you're out at DY 100 in California.
Yeah, but that's not his question.
No, I know.
He wants to know, how do I ask?
Well, if you're not going to win, that's a good idea.
That'd be an idea at least.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would say, especially in a year where you're not going to get a monetary raise, asking for time is a great option. So finances are tight, and the church says, "Hey, just so you know, Ken, we're not going to have raises this year. No one's getting any raises. It's just not possible." One thing that a church can do in a moment like that is offer you a different type of compensation. Maybe a small allowance for books would be an ask. Maybe time off. Time off doesn't cost the same way that another check does. So I would say in a year like that, have a conversation and say, hey, you know what? One of the things that would be really great is if I could get some conference time off. Mm-hmm. That'd be an idea.
Yeah, here's another idea. Go on the Download Youth Ministry Facebook page and say, if you're a full-time youth pastor, how much time do you get off?
Yeah.
Put a little survey together. We've got over 10,000 people on that
Yeah.
Facebook page, and then
Take the results.
sit down with your pastor and share the results.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
idea.
I would say, too, I came from a church that didn't believe in conferences like I did as a youth pastor, and I was always having to, cast the vision to my senior pastor and say, this is what we go and do. This is how I come back. I am a better youth pastor. I'm more charged up. I've got resources. I'm
Better
inspired. I
ideas.
have
Yep.
ideas. I sell the whole thing and say, you got it. Trust me. If you send me to this is what you're getting. The whole church is going to be better for it. And he totally came around. It came to the point where I could, at the end of my 15-year run, I could go to any conference I wanted, and it was part of my time. It wasn't like vacation.
Yeah, it's good. So you had upward influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think selling it really well, like you did, that's a great principle.
Yep.
You know, really come in there. Don't just fly by night and go in and hope to get something. Have a plan. Show some evidence and talk about what's been meaningful to you in the past.
Yeah, and
or take the conference brochure and say, here's the stuff I need to grow in, and I know I need to grow in this area. I'm going to go get that here.
Yeah.
So that'd be an idea too.
And it's understanding too. I mean, having a little respect for the fact that, and I have no idea what his situation is, but whoever the senior leader is, like if they don't buy into this stuff, you really do have to show them. Otherwise, it does seem like a vacation. It seems like you're going off to a concert and having fun. I mean, you got to show them.
Yeah,
somehow.
which is also
I
true
definitely
and
think
so good for you.
especially DYM at 200, because if they're following you on social media or some of those things, they're seeing maybe a lot of the fun and relational stuff, which is cool. But when someone's greenlighting you to learn, it's hard.
That's
You
good.
don't post those things. So since you've been before, coming back with here's some of the practical topics that we launched into. Here's some of the important conversations I was in, because maybe they're only seeing a side. Your wife is only seeing a side. So what are some of the pieces that just help them understand? I think too, asking the question why, like, why is that a thing that we don't go to conferences? Maybe just getting some insight and perspective into how leadership views those things might give you an approach too. Just knowing why it's not something that we value in this season or whatever. That might be a good question to ask.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's why I always think if I have my choice, I want to work for a senior pastor who was a youth pastor, because I feel like
Because they know.
Yeah, they know. They've been to the conferences.
Come to encounterchurch.com.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. People listening all over the world are going to come to Encounter Church,
Yeah.
Senior pastor was a youth pastor.
Mission Viejo, California.
It's good.
Senior pastor.
So
Jason
Ken, let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
And then let me know if I described you fairly. This is from
Snappy dresser.
Mark.
Glasses.
This is kind of a two-part question.
Kind of spotty
We've got
fish in there.
Mark Hall, and I have what do you call this, Katie, when you dog ear things together?
Mark Hall,
Papers?
lead singer of Casting Crowns?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. These
Probably.
two questions, one from Mark Hall, one from Jim Pirtle. Mark says, hey, everybody, love the show. Not currently a gold member, aspiring DYM author, never been able to make it to DYM 100. I hope these credentials don't count against me. Pretty good.
Ask his question. I'm in.
Yeah. Here's my question. So my video interview with the search committee went better than I could have hoped for, and now they want to meet in a few weeks. What are some in-person next-level questions I have to make sure I ask and discuss with them now that we're at a point that's different from the initial interview over the phone? Church is about 450 people and has pastor, worship, youth, secretary as full-time. So that's Mark's question. Then Jim Pirtle says, Dear Doug, Josh, Katie, and a prayer to be named later. What's the one trait? You've been gone for a while. I think
Yeah.
you just.
Could have been Matt. Could have been Jessica Sanchez. Who knows? Could have been
Definitely her.
Allison or Tori. Who knows?
Oh,
Kathy.
player to be named later. Sorry. I'm just so spiritual when I see.
You know why you
P
are?
and Y.
Because you've been reading through
You
the
are.
Bible.
Yeah.
That's why. 3
That's
days
right.
in.
Every word.
Yeah, and a player to be named later.
Oh, there it is. That makes sense.
What's the one trait that you wish youth ministry job applicants had, but in your experience most often lack?
Oh.
See what I'm doing there, guys?
Wow. You're dovetailing.
yes.
You're dovetailing.
You got both ends of the
Yes.
coin.
That's what a host does.
Wow.
That's what it
That's
is.
pretty
That's what a
impressive.
host
I remember
does.
when we talked about doing
You're never
this
going to get
earlier.
that from Josh.
Hey, just co-hosting over here. Don't worry about it. Those are good questions. They're loosely related. I like that. One thing I would ask, I'd just ask some culture questions like, do we go out to lunch? Do we hang out outside of church? What are your expectations on my spouse? Is there a conference buddy? Is there any way I can go to a conference this year? Just some stuff that isn't maybe forthright. I do think at some point it'd be good to talk about numbers, because numbers are an expectation of the leadership. And so maybe not in your first in-person interview, but at some point I would bring that up and encourage them to understand that health is going to take time, and for you to get any type of success is going to take a little bit of effort and time. So that's a start.
We hear responses every day of youth pastors. Got one today. who, I don't know if he texted both of us or just me.
No, I got it too. Yeah.
Okay. Been let go of his church. And I think every day youth workers are losing their jobs. And sometimes they don't go in with their eyes wide open. So questions about expectations are great. You know, I see the job description, but what is your definition of success? How do you evaluate success? What are the expectations around that? I think culture questions are great. I would say to Jim, who said, what's the trait you wish youth ministry job applicants had, but in your experience most often lack? I would say initiative. That's what I would say.
Wow.
I think, you want people to take initiative. I want people to take initiative, even if they take it in the wrong direction.
That's fair. If you can redirect movement.
Absolutely.
But getting someone started.
But people just sitting around waiting to be told what to do. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I like that.
I feel like the applicant question, or that one, I would answer with the other one of, I'm always looking for someone who asks questions. So to me, someone who is looking to ask questions is someone who's looking to learn, looking to grow. It's definitely connected to initiative. Questions lead to change. Questions lead to new things. So I think if I interview someone and they don't ask me a single question, it's an immediate red flag for me.
Yeah.
It just is. Like, I might not even have a second conversation with you.
You're
It's
like,
that
I
big
think
of a
I'm
red
good.
flag.
You're like, so am I.
Like, you don't have any questions for me, not one. You know, no, it's not. All sounds great. No.
Yeah.
Like, that's red flag for me.
Katie, wouldn't you say that would be from younger people? Do you think? Like,
Yeah, I think yes.
I'm
Sam.
thinking of some of that I know that might be on your staff or the high school staff that are going. They're kind of right out of college. I'm not even sure they know the questions to ask it. They're just
Definitely.
excited to have a job.
Right. Just throw up the possibility
sure.
even.
Yeah, when you've been in the church and you have been beaten up a little bit, or man, I didn't see that coming, or I learned that along the way, then all of a sudden those reframe your questions a little bit.
Yeah. I think a question I would ask that I don't think I have previously would be to the senior leader. What's their plan? And are they going to be around for a while? Because I've heard of a lot of youth workers that they jump into a position and they're all excited and fired up, and then there's another staff transition that quickly follows them, and all of a sudden their future's in question. So I would love to just hear a senior pastor's journey, story, heart, and a little bit of vision to see if they're going to be around. Because I'm moving my family here.
Like a one-on-one?
Probably a one-on-one after things have gone well.
He's not going to answer that.
Right. But I think it's a next level question for you to go, hey, this feels like a good fit. I'm moving my family across the country. I need to know that you're going to be here for a while. So fill me in on where, like, have you wrestled at all, or are you locked and loaded? I just think it's a different question too than you would typically ask.
Yeah. So I'll take this question a little bit of a different angle,
Great.
different side of the coin, I guess. So for me, when we looked for a youth pastor, when I was transitioning out, we went through so many applicants, and in that process, I think the thing that it's a tricky line, because I hear what you're saying, and I would want the same thing. I would want someone to come in and understand expectations, and am I going to have vacation time, and like so. I think what the tendency might be is youth pastors might come in with an idea of like entitlement of like, I need to guard my stuff, guard my family, guard my time. And what I heard when I was interviewing guys and girls, like it was like, okay, you sound like you're coming in trying to interview me. And that was an instant turnoff.
Interesting, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's I suppose it's how it's done. Right? Coming in with the humility, asking the right questions is probably a better route than, well, tell me what I'm going to get, and that kind of thing. So for me, it was always, I think the second question, like, what are you looking for to hire a youth pastor? I mean, things that ring to my ears is teachability, willingness to serve, willingness to jump onto the vision of the church. Like for me, those things are pretty important. Like, because if you're going to live on an island and do a silo youth ministry and say, I know better than everything that's happened. I mean, I was at a church that existed for 37 years. It's like if somebody comes in and says, I know better than all of you, it's kind of, it kind of ruffles some feathers,
sure.
You know? So it's a little bit of a balance, but I think approach it the right way of asking the right questions with humility, showing that, hey, I am coming in to be a bigger part of the vision of the church and to serve. Like, I think that'd be good for me.
Yeah, I don't recall them, but I think in the book, your first 2 years in youth ministry, I think I actually have some questions in there that you should ask. I don't remember what they are, but
yeah, and I'll add one that I don't.
I'm sure
think,
they're terrific.
I'm sure they are too. I'll add one that I don't think would be in there because it's a newer concept. But is what I create here mine, or is it the church's? Because as someone would, I like to share this game I made on Download Youth Ministry. It's a lot easier to have that conversation really early in your employment or in an interview process than to figure it out later when you're in the thick of things. So I think it's a newer conversation going, I can help youth ministry through DYM or whatever. And so I would say I would make that part of my late interview asks, though.
Josh, always plugging DYM.
Youthpastordiet.com. I'm a little hangry. I'm sorry.
Add a little more protein to that time. This is from Tyler Rowland. DYM team, Tyler from Minnesota here, DYM Gold member, and hopefully soon to be a DYM 100 attender.
There you go.
Allison, when are we going to open registration for DYM 100? Are we doing
DYM 100?
When is
Not
it?
200. It's
That
going to.
question's for you.
Okay. Allison said that question's for you, so I think she's talking to you.
Yeah, I
Jason.
think we want to launch sometime in early May.
We set dates and costs. We announce all of that the week of Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Yeah,
We
Valentine's
do
Day.
it on that.
we'll announce
he
it
meant.
the week of Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
All right.
Is it going to be DYM 100 or 200?
Or 200.
Like what? I need to hear. 500.
No.
DYM
I vote one.
500?
No.
I'm going to vote
Oh my goodness! Get all the youth workers together.
The DYM 200, this was
Blow it up.
this year was mic drop. It was like
was
drop the
pretty fun.
mic and walk away. Like we're never going to be able to
end on a high note.
duplicate that. We had too many surprises. I called in too many favors. We had too many fabulous people there that were. It was unbelievable.
It sounds nothing but good things.
It was.
And so we're stopping it.
So we're not going
It
to
was the
ever do
best
it again.
ever.
But
and
I
we're
also
gonna
felt
cut
like
that thing off.
Cut it off.
Josh and I think our feedback was 200 was, even though we had everybody there. We had Duffy and Walt and Katie and Marco and Kurt Johnson. I mean, we had
Carl.
what did we have, like 15
Heather.
like
Oh, it was so good.
15 like superstar youth workers to hang out, almost like camp counselors, and it was unbelievable. So not everybody needed, or Josh and I felt like, people don't need time with us because they've got.
Yeah.
But 200 just felt like
That's too big.
lot of people for Josh and I's style. Like we like to look people
You
in
like
the
the
eyes.
intimacy, yes.
Yeah, I like smaller.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what you based the whole thing out of in the first place.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
I mean,
So if we do it again,
It's going to
probably
be
be 100. Yeah.
What if it was
And
the
of-
DYM 150?
And of those 100, about
what
three
a
of them,
problem solver.
about three of them are going to finish the Bible.
Best of both worlds. The DYM 150 coming to you
150.
Valentine's Day 2019.
Well,
What
here's-
if one of the
here's the other
requirements
thing.
was you had to read through the Bible by the time you got
forget
there?
it.
Amazing.
Everywhere.
It's incredible.
Forget it.
The other thing that we've been thinking about is what if, Katie? Okay, this is breaking news
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, here we go. Let's go. Allison, raise your eyebrows.
Alice has got her
Let's
head kind
go.
of turned a little
What
bit.
if it
She's ready.
was DYM 100 and it was for if you're just in your 20s, or a DYM 100 single
60s,
or
I would say.
married or veterans, or we kind of niche it that way. Interesting, huh?
One leg industrial accident engineers
Left-handed.
left-handed in their mid 40s with a peanut
hate
allergy. It's a niche group, but we can find 100 of them.
I don't know. I think it's
Gluten-free,
good for
soy-free,
people to be
dairy-free.
mixed.
Mixed.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's good for singles and married youth workers to mix.
Yeah, and young, brand new
I mean,
youth
I mean
workers
that
and
in that
veterans.
friendship
And
way.
yeah,
Isn't variety in the body of Christ beautiful?
it's the spice of life.
It really is.
I like the
Okay,
mix.
so
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Just thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I don't know, Doug.
youthpastordiet.com.
We typically run our Sunday morning Sunday school at the first service, 9:30 a.m.
Cancel
We-
it.
We have had a growing number of parents ask if we would consider moving Sunday school to our second service at 11 a.m. The biggest reason being that they have trouble getting their students out of bed. if we were to do this change, it could significantly affect, who knows, I was a homeschooler, other ministries. What would be a wise way to go about trying out these changes? My leadership is very supportive of taking risks and trying things, but I want to glean some wisdom from people who have done this before. To me, it's a no-brainer.
A no-brainer, yes.
Change it
Do
to
it,
11.
yeah.
Let kids sleep in. Go out to lunch afterwards.
Yep.
Make it relational. That is
100%.
That's a no-brainer.
Well, there you
Well,
go. We're all in
and
I'm
agreement.
with it too.
If you're nervous about people, I mean, we've done this a billion times where you just, launch it as an experiment. We're going to try this out, and then it takes
Yeah.
off.
So we're doing this for the summer, and
People
we'll see
come
how it
to
goes. We're doing it
Jesus.
for the fall, and
Yeah, and then there you are.
Or even
So-
now, early in the year, try it through the
January
through the school
1st.
year.
Yeah, we're gonna try
if you do it right
this.
away, it'll feel natural here. If you wait till like February 1st, it feels a little weird.
Or like March 19th.
Yeah, this is a good time to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, where'd you pull March 19th out of?
I don't know. I just said it. Terrible day to launch things.
Yeah.
Also true. Also true.
I don't like to answer questions like that, like no-brainer, that's easy,
Yeah.
because he's really struggling with that.
Sure, in the there's communication around that. There's
Yeah.
parents,
Well,
so
and
there's
if numbers
legwork
go
to do.
down, then
Yeah,
you're
that's
on the hook for
bad.
that. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it would be really exciting.
Yeah, I would make the ones that are forced to be there and that come in that looking like my eyes look right now. They come in tired on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Then you go, hey, what do you think about start planting the seed?
We made the move in our youth group. We went from first service to second service,
Well,
and
why
it
are
was.
you, where were you 5
I'm
minutes
answering
ago?
right now.
You can answer these when they come in.
It was.
When we talk beforehand and we say
rose.
save it for the show, we mean like
This
This
is the
is the
moment.
show.
Oh, this are we recording?
yeah.
This is your now.
Attendance rose for us, and it was totally successful. I don't think kids, especially is it a high school group? Did he or she not say?
No, it didn't say.
Okay, well, whatever it is, if it's high school for sure, high schoolers were way more attentive. Our numbers bumped up, I think, 20% or something right away.
Senior
I
pastor
think
always
too.
thinking about
Anytime
attendance.
your leadership, you can say with confidence that they like you to take risks.
Yeah, what
totally.
a compliment.
That to me is the no-brainer part of that situation.
Yeah, that's a great point,
If
Kate.
your leadership is like, do it, take risks, step out, then
Game on.
yes, so fun. So that's the no-brainer piece.
Yep.
Here we go. Last question of this event. I crossed this guy's name out, and the reason I crossed his name out is because I feel like what he's asking, I'm just going to prophetically say, I think it's his fault.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. And so I don't want to say his
I'm
name.
now biased against this person already. I don't even know what they've done.
No, they haven't done it. I just think he's describing a situation. I'm going, well, dude, this is kind of like, as I'm reading this, I'm going, it's on you.
So, spoiler alert, he
So
did it.
no-brainer number 2.
I got it. So, whatever Doug
So,
thinks.
shorter question.
Yeah, here we go. I'm excited. Here we go.
Hey, y'all, I've had a problem with adults. Let me know when I'm boring you, Jason.
Dude, just jump on your phone.
I would
No,
have
it's
been
okay.
on time, but
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
You know what?
No, that's all right.
Here we go.
Defensive people's posture of people
I'm
who
listening.
don't read the Bible.
3% daily bread, no carbs. Here we go.
I've had a problem with adults in our youth ministry since I started this church 4 years ago. Most would say that they serve that they are there to serve as volunteers, but they don't do anything during our Wednesday night service. They come in, grab a seat from the stack of chairs in the back, sit down away from our kids. And when I offer volunteer training and include them in my volunteer communication, they're absent and silent. I have a volunteer meeting 30 minutes before our service to go over last-minute assignments. We have the most 10 show up for this meeting, but there are 20-plus adults who show up at 6:30. The good thing is they're all, quote-unquote, our people. They are parents, volunteers who are background checked. They serve or currently serving somewhere in the church. They're not people we have to be concerned about, but their lack of engagement with our students makes them useless in our ministry. They literally suck the energy out of the room. Kids don't want to come because there are so many idle adults in there. They feel like they're being watched. My plan is to hold them all after the service one night and remind them of the expectations if I have to if they stay in our service, and then ultimately to ask them to leave if they refuse to participate and show an interest in our students. Is that too far? Should there be more steps involved in the process?
I like it.
This kind of feels like Doug. We could leave, and Doug could just sit here on the edge and just talk right to this young man for a moment and just pastor him through this.
Well, it's been there 4 years.
Holy smokes.
It's been there 4 years. So here's what I'm going to say to this person is you've been, and this person is a DYM Gold member, went to the National Youth Workers Convention. He says DYM 200 week 17. So I've kept his name off there because I think if you've been there 4 years, that mess is on your clock.
Yeah.
So you've allowed that to happen.
Yep.
So I'd have a fresh break, paint a new picture. Here's what it is. I've learned by my mistakes. When the new school year starts, and then lay out your expectations. And if adults don't want to live by those expectations, cut them loose.
Yeah.
That's it.
And do some introspection onto how they got to where they are. Because it being on your clock is a powerful statement. This is your fault. These are your people. That's a tough one to swallow. I don't disagree in any way.
Yeah, but unless he came right out of Bible college, this is his first experience. He went there. There's a bunch of these old adults and he's learning on the go.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't totally know the
Cut him
culture.
some slack, John.
Yeah, jeez, pretty judgmental. First he cuts down the Bible, and now this.
It's fair to say this is your mess.
Yeah.
Either way, even if you inherited it, it's now yours. 4 years in, it's yours.
Yeah.
And so I think a clean break, even the beginning of summer, do some, hey, who wants to volunteer for camp, get through that season, and then in the new year, really train, teach, demonstrate why we do it this way. And these are the new expectations.
Okay, here's the deal. He's got a pen right now. He knows who he is. He's got a pen and paper. He's opened up his journal, and he gets the privilege of having 5 steps from Katie.
Oh, gosh.
Here are your first 5 steps that you would take to this
awesome.
person named
Just glad he said Katie.
Joe. Okay?
Totally.
Joe, here's your first 5 steps. Do these 5 things. Ready? Write them down, Joe. Here they come.
Okay, let me just say one thing before I give 5 steps. I would just say leadership is really hard, and there is no team that is a lost cause. So you can always turn the ship around, be encouraged. I've made a billion mistakes and can always start to take steps. Okay. The first thing is I would ask a few key questions about your team to help shape some things. So 5 questions in particular. One, just do they understand the vision of your ministry? Do they understand the audience that they're serving? Do they know what their job description is? Are they resourced and are they encouraged? I think those 5 questions are a great place to start about your team, just asking those questions. Step 2 is I would meet with a couple of volunteers, your very, very best, and then the one that you're struggling with the most, to just gain insight and have no other agenda than just to ask questions and listen and hear the answer. The third thing is I would just assess what you're doing as far as equipping them and caring for them. What's that 30-minute meeting that might need to be revisited? What are you asking them to do, like as far as time, and how are you stewarding their time? Just being thoughtful about the experience that the volunteer is having. What is that? And what's your part in that, and what's their part in that? Because there's probably both. You've got a part as a leader, and they've got a part as a volunteer. So maybe assessing that. I think, too, who are people coming alongside of you with that team? So if you've got a team of 30, that's a really big team. So sometimes teams can get away from you when they grow too big. So who would be a key other volunteer or 2 that could come alongside of you to help care and lead and shepherd that team in the roles that they play? I only have 4. I don't know. There's probably one more.
Well, the first one had 5 questions.
I know, so it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, you gave Joe more than he
double
can.
digits at this
He's
point.
gonna have to. He's gonna have to rewind just to write those all
Sorry.
down.
A lot
Look, I was under the clock. We're on the last
really
question.
good.
Yeah, I don't know if you hear this sound. That was dropping the mic.
That's dropping the mic right there.
And breaking your iPhone.
Yeah,
That's fine.
It's worth it. Katie, you probably need to write that down and do a whole training on it.
Or write a book. Amazing.
Or something. That
Well,
was
team
a really
ministry is
good
the
start.
best. It is the best. Doing
Yeah.
ministry as a team and working to invest in that team feeling healthy and energized and fulfilled. I mean, gosh, it's the best. And like I said, there's no team that can't be turned around.
Yeah,
Well,
teams
and-
do go sideways. That is part of the
Totally,
gig. It's going to happen to all of us.
Every
any of us.
principle that she just said, or any
Yeah.
principle that we've ever written about volunteers and team, you don't learn in your first 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's in his
learn
first
them
4
the
years,
hard way,
but
too.
you learn him. You're
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well,
okay, this is.
And we should commission this person to write back in whatever next Christmas and say, "Hey, it's been a year. I heard while listening to your New Year's show, it's been a year. Here's where we're at."
Yep.
That'd be awesome to hear how things have turned around.
I think we call this show Katie's mic drop.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
So let it be written.
Wow.
So let it be done.
said.
That's the best part.
Youthpastordiet.com. Keep off the carbs, but stay in the word.
There you go. Josh endorsed the word. It is like Christmas miracle.
Bread of life.
The bread of life. That's right. Keep off
But
the
not
carbs,
the bread of
stay-
earth.
Unless it's an ancient grain from a hipster bakery. All right, we'll see you next time.